What's happening, Tribe? My name is Anuj. Good to see you guys again. It's always exciting when the tribe comes together. December 17th, we are in the middle of Game Week 17. Not really in the middle. We just left with three games, which are slated for tonight, which includes the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham, where I'm sure most of the community's assets are still yet to play three of Liverpool and on average and two of Chelsea. So still lots to go. It has been a very, very peculiar game week thus far. Two games got postponed, unfortunately, due to COVID situation in UK. Things haven't really looked bright in the last couple of days in terms of players catching COVID or the staff, getting COVID as well. So things, hopefully, let's keep our fingers crossed and hope things turn for the good sooner rather than later. Obviously, the safety comes first, for the players, and then the matches can come along. I'm joined again by Bhavin. Bhavin, how's it going? Very, very weird game week for most of us, isn't it?
Absolutely, Anuj. One to forget and one to move on from quickly.
Yeah, as in, fortunately, the next game week. It's not the midweek, but yes, it's gonna happen on Saturday, uh, which is the game week 18th, and hopefully there are no more postponements going forward. All right, let's straight away get on with our transfer queues for this week. We're going to quickly take a look at the game week 16 transfer calls that we had made. Unfortunately, we could not come up with a episode or session for game week 17 due to personal reasons. But game week 16, these were the calls that we had discussed. Bhavin and I had discussed. Dalot in terms of the cheap defender. Obviously. So this was game week 16. So United did have a clean sheet against Norwich. The next game week 17, got postponed. Cash from Aston Villa. We had mentioned that the game week 16 game against Liverpool. So people should look at Aston Villa assets post that. They played Norwich and he got a clean sheet. Ronaldo, similar to Dalot, he did score a goal against Norwich, and his second game got postponed. Watkins, like Cash, was recommended for game week 17 onwards, and I think he has just got on board, got a double-digit haul, but with a very, very fortunate assist, which was right from the center line. Jared Bowen has been funny one. Yes, he did have a couple of tough games, but he's had two blanks. Arsenal actually dominated them last night, and before that against, I think, Burnley, or there's someone he could not score or come up with a return. Soufal did give a clean sheet in game week 16, but unfortunately got a red card last night as a result of two yellow cards. So it's been a mixed bag for us till now as far as the last game week 16 calls are concerned, and we're gonna get on with our game week 18 recommendations. So we're gonna get on with these four players since these are the ones who have been in the thick of action for the teams, and these are the top four teams currently sitting on the table. Chelsea, Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, and these are the defenders in the range from 6 million to 8 million, and we're going to take a deep look at them. If all these four can be put into one team, or if we can take out three out of these four, or two out of these four, or two out of these four. I'm sure people have it, but if there's a way to get three out of these four. Bhavin, do you have what's your status with these four players? How are you placed with them?
In terms of the four, only one Jota. Gallagher is my other mid, apart from Salah, and Brownhill is the fifth mid. I'm missing the fourth mid I have. Just let me have a quick check. No City mids there as of now.
Okay.
Bowen, of course. My bad.
Right.
So in terms of the options, I think if I was to really rank, I think Jota is first by a mile. Uh,
Right.
in terms of his importance, we've spoken about AFCON and so on and so forth. I think even with Firmino coming in, given the kind of fixtures Liverpool have, and the odd benching that you see for Salah and Mane this time of the year, I think it's kind of fairly certain to see Jota feature prominently. So I don't think you should overthink, and if you don't have Jota still now, now is the time to get him in. Any moment is a good time to get Jota in, honestly.
Right.
In terms of Chelsea, I think the challenge is, of course, Mount has flattered his XG by a big margin,
Yeah.
and suddenly he's become central, probably to do with Lukaku coming in, and the fullbacks probably not bombing as far forward because they don't have cover in the central of the midfield. So that's why probably Mount has become more pivotal to play. The fixtures do stiffen for Chelsea, so I think
Right.
might be a little bit of a chasing points kind of a phenomenon. They do have two good fixtures, and then the run becomes extremely tough. So probably wouldn't go to Mount. I think the real one that I don't have and really kind of makes it scary is Foden. The good part is his ownership is still low, but every time you see him play, I mean, you get the feel that he can easily haul and give you 10, 15 points every week. But
No, absolutely.
the good part, as I said, is his ownership is low, and the fact is that Pep keeps citing the niggle or the other and keeps benching one of his players for one or two
Right.
games. So I think like for example, most people had Bilba, and despite the 7-0, Bilba came up with nothing. So that's really the risk with City midfielder. It's a little bit of a lottery, despite them having good stats. So have dodged that Foden bullet for now. ESR is a real peculiar one. I have owned Saka for a long while, and every time you see Arsenal play, by far Saka looks the better player. But
Oh,
ESR
absolutely. Yeah.
keeps banging those low shots into the bottom of the corner. Reminds
Right.
me of the Yaya Toure year. He'll get
Correct.
one
Correct.
shot and he'll just score from it. So I think Arsenal are an interesting one for those who are looking for a short-term punt. Can't go wrong with ESR. Next two definitely look good, but then the fixtures do stiffen. So I would say ranking-wise, I think Jota, Foden, ESR, and then probably Mount for me in midfield.
Yeah, as in if you see Arsenal's fixtures as well, and I think it's now a known fact that they're extremely in this season they're extremely solid at home. In attack as well as in especially in defense. I think 7 out of 8 clean sheets have come at home. The next two fixtures are really mouth-watering. Leeds away, Norwich away. So I'm not sure about the clean sheets because since they've only kept 1 out of the 8 clean sheets on the road. But yes, definitely the attacking returns can come. And as you rightly said, ESR's just very similar to Mount. His delta of XGI is extremely high. His finishing has been top notch. That's the one huge plus point as far as Arsenal's fans are concerned. His finishing has been good, and but you're absolutely right. Saka has looked the liveliest amongst all these young guns in Arsenal. But I think Arsenal, if I'm not wrong, Saka has just the opposite numbers. He has 2 goals and 6 assists or 5 assists. Uh, and in terms of points as well, FPL points, he's just I think 5 or 6 points behind ESR. Ownership, amongst all four of this, again, like you said, I was kind of a bit shocked that it's just 7%, and then it made me kind of happy as well. Okay, it's just 7%, and we have seen, he did give a double-digit haul a couple of days back, and people who had him have just kind of gone up the ranking by a big margin. 7% for a Foden, and then the thing with Foden is, even if he gets benched or even if he plays 45 minutes, whenever he's on the field, he definitely looks to really just get a return anytime. As compared to any other, the Grealishes of the world or even Bernardo Silva. And we've anyway spoken about Bernardo Silva that he has been overachieving his numbers. But as far as Foden, and I have Bernardo Silva, but I don't mind kind of going double up on Foden. Yes, again, it's the thing about City. How in terms of the rotation, though his rotation this year has not been that much as compared to what he has been doing the last 3-4 years. Mount, yes, this 6 goals and 5 assists. There was a hat trick in one of the games, so his numbers obviously look the best in terms of goals and assists, 11 goal involvements. But again, yeah, as you said, the delta is extremely high, and the fixtures, if you see, are just Wolves is the fourth best defense now. Aston Villa, Gerrard's defense is getting better. Brighton is the one they can obviously go for it. But again, then it's Liverpool, and I think City comes just a couple of game weeks later than Liverpool. So I think Mount is definitely fourth for me. Jota, yes, people who don't have Jota definitely should have Jota. But if somebody was to ask me who were the 3 out of these 4 would you like to take, yeah, definitely it's gonna be Jota, Foden, and ESR. I don't have Gallagher, so obviously anything in 5.5. He's anyway 6.2 now, so he's also 6+ kind of a midfielder, anyways. So yes, it's an interesting one. But when Salah leaves, maybe these 4 might be. Would you look at these 4 to get in even if Salah leaves?
If Salah leaves, Foden is a definitely tempting option, or one of the premium City mids, which we'll come to. I think the problem is if you downgrade a lot and leave cash in the bank and spread it around, it becomes difficult to get Salah back. So that's the challenge.
And you have to get him
which
back.
Is why you have to get him back. There's no two ways about it. So that's the big problem, if you ask me.
Right. Just to let everybody know on the big chances for amongst these 4 players, ESR has had the lowest with 2, obviously because of the way what his role is. Jota, it's 16 is an extremely high number. So it's clearly if nobody has him, he needs to get him. 27.5 ownership is still, I think, quite low in terms of not getting him. Yes, Firmino he is fit. He might even start today, but I'm not really sure whether Jota. He'd definitely be involved in the game whenever sooner or later. Knowing Klopp, he's not going to start from game after game, considering what we have in the next 4 games, and obviously then there's a break. All right, let's get on with a situation if AFCON 2021 happens, which again looks like it's going to happen as of now. The CAF, which is the African Federation Authority, they have said yes, we are going ahead with it. I think it's 28 days from today. So in this case, if AFCON happens, obviously one name will be missing from all our teams. 73% owned, which is Salah. He's at 13.1 now, if I'm not wrong, 13 or 13.1. So he's going to miss 4 or 5 game weeks. So what are the premium midfielders that we can look at? And these are the 2 options that we have. KDB is back from injury. Yes, he was played extremely well against Leeds, but Leeds were absolutely all over the place. And I think he scored 2 goals as well. So he's obviously, because of his injury, he's just played 584 minutes as compared to Sterling. Sterling has had a good run, and again, nobody was surprised when he was not played last game week. So his minutes played is obviously higher. What do you make out of these 2 players? If this is in a situation when Salah leaves, so who you're looking at?
Honestly, if I was to take that call today, I think it will be Sterling over De Bruyne. One to monitor definitely in terms of how KDB's fitness improves and steps up, and what happens to Gundogan. So Gundogan has been a little cold. Pep's been talking about his form, citing injury concern as well. So yeah, I think if Gundogan is out for a stretch, confirmed, then KDB's appeal goes up drastically. But if not, then I think Sterling is the better player because he's looked really sharp whenever he's played, gotten into positions. With Jesus playing in the right, there is that need for somebody occupying that center spot. Has a fair amount of pace, and I think in terms of eye test also, you see him being very hungry with what has happened throughout the season. The January window is coming. Obviously, there'll be talk. Again, Barcelona rumors will come circling by. So I think in terms of, and at times it does tend to matter. I remember an old pod that I used to listen in, the discussion that used to be around, look at the player's mindset in terms of where he is, and many a time that gives you a big clue. So I think, from that perspective, I think definitely Sterling is the guy to go for. More explosive as well. If you get the odd benching, you can be more convinced about capping him as well. So I think, between the two, if you ask me, I think Sterling is the better play. Looks more explosive, and might be worth the two transfers to get him in and out. You really, for a small stretch, want an explosive asset who can pay you back those two transfers. So I think my
Right.
vote would be on Sterling as things stand.
And as we saw their fixtures, so obviously we see Foden is obviously City, so Newcastle away, which again looks like I think all these fixtures in terms of maybe Arsenal away might be the toughest among all these four, but these are all defenses who have leaked big time this season, and obviously Newcastle is it's no biggie. I think there are goals galore in all these three games, if not the Arsenal one, and also the price. I think for in terms of 1.2 difference. Now the only thing is if it's 13.1 of Salah, and if you straight away go down to 10.6, you're left with 2.5. You get that temptation. Obviously, you know that why do you have that money in the bank? You need to got to use it for Salah. But there might always be a temptation of uh, not using that 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3 on some other player, and then just trying to do some harakiri in terms of transfers and to try to get Salah in when he's back. So that has to be kind of checked at and looked into. So managers will have to kind of be wary of that. But on KDB, I think he looks super fit, to be honest. And I think his injury has been he has been injury prone for the last 2 seasons now. Even last season he hardly played around, I think, 1,200 to 1,300 minutes in the whole season. This season is again out of 1,500 minutes he just played 584, so he's missed 2/3 of the season already. Yes, now Champions League is not there till February, so he can go on a run. But again, 11.8 to 10.6 ownership is the same. As you said, Sterling at times plays like a lone striker at times, and that's the reason you see his big chances are at 8. KDB's big chances will always be less. KDB's big chances created obviously are around 6 to 7. I think in the game against Leeds, he had 9 shots on target. I think that's some kind of a record from City this season in one game. So he looked absolutely hungry, and it will be interesting to see how Gundogan kind of has an effect on him. He has had a back injury which has been going on, and I think Gundogan is. It will be rare to see him now play 90 minutes in the next 3-4 game weeks, unless his back injury is absolutely fine. So yeah, so these are 2 good options to look at, which as of now looks like AFCON is going to happen. So, and because the reason we are putting it in the game week 18 session is because you wouldn't need 2-3 game weeks to really plan out, and by that time Salah leaves, so you guys should start thinking about it right away. All right,
Just
so
one more shout,
yeah.
Anuj, on Sterling. For those who are brave-hearted and can take a punty move, I think this week the Salah to Sterling and buyback Salah move also makes a lot of sense if your squad is in decent shape. Because Sterling has been rested midweek, he's bound to change the pack, and Sterling will be in the starting lineup. And Salah has
And
Tottenham
yeah.
away. So it's a good shout. Not one for me because I can't buy Salah back immediately, and I can't kind of afford that because you lose 0.2, 0.3 on Salah. But if
Right.
you're really chasing and looking for an upside punt, Sterling in and maybe even captaincy to him could be a big move for this
Yeah,
week.
absolutely. Why not? Why not? Sterling has a habit of scoring hat tricks every season, so this might be the game. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good shout. All right, a couple of outside shouts now, and outside shouts. With this, we mean that these are a couple of players who have been in good form in the last 4 to 5 game weeks. But you will have to pick and choose the fixture that you want to play them in. So these are the two players that we have. Martinelli, who has been in a good form in the last 4 5 game weeks, has been coming out with returns almost every game now in the last 4 5 game weeks. And Maddison on the other front has been just on fire again, from the last perspective of last 5 game weeks. Again, Martinelli injury prone, similar to KDB in the last 2 seasons. You can see it by the number of minutes. But now he has played the last 4 games. Now he has started last 4 games, so he's clocking minutes under his belt, and he has looked sharp. And I think, as you said, you have to look at the mindset of a player, and he really. I think he understands the situation with Aubameyang, which is going on. Obviously, he was stripped of the captaincy just last week, but he knows that Aubameyang is going through a very, very rough patch. I think the roughest patch he's ever seen in his career. And he is and even Lacazette. And I think he took that opportunity and wanted to kind of create his own niche and own mark on Arteta's mind. And I think that's to be seen. One thing to kind of be wary about is, I think yesterday also I don't know, he kind of pulled out at the 75th or 76th minute. So not sure if that injury is how serious that injury is. We're talking to a couple of Arsenal fans in terms of whether Martinelli, ESR, Odegaard, Saka, Lacazette, out of these five, all the five can't start together because we haven't seen them start together. But if Lacazette is not regular, being as a lone striker, I think Martinelli will be the one who will be starting. 5.2 price, extremely as in value for money. In terms of ownership as well, 0.5%, which is extremely rare. 4 big chances in the last. This is the last, four game weeks. 2 goals, 3 assists. So he's on song as far as Arsenal is concerned. And then, as we saw, next 2 fixtures are Leeds away and Norwich away. So somebody obviously keep an eye on his injury. He might get rested because of how serious, or even if it's like a 50-50 chances on him, Arteta might rest him. But yes, he should be looked at because a lot of us have Brownhill as 4.4. Yes, Burnley did lose a fixture last week. They might have a double game week, but I doubt people are going to play Brownhill. Yes, he's a little bit of an upgrade, but definitely to keep an eye on. Uh, what are your views on Madison? Or in fact,
Anuj, in
Martinelli?
fact, yeah, so you've picked both footballers who look extremely good on the eye whenever you see them play.
Right.
Both kind of have, and I think on Martinelli first, I every time I see him play, I keep thinking, why can't Arsenal play without a striker and false nine, and just do the Pep formula with a false nine and
Right.
keep rotating places. Sooner or later, that's going to happen, I suppose, with Lacazette not really at the age where he can play game in game out,
Yeah.
and Oba being out of the picture. Wouldn't be surprised to see that happen in one of the games. It looks really, really exciting, but still not sure of how, in terms of minutes he'll fare once ESR comes back. And I think next game will be critical because
Yeah.
ESR's got to start, given that he's off the bench. If you see Martinelli in the lineup, becomes an option, but a very risky option, so to speak, in terms of minutes, because you will have them seeing cup games and all that, where Martinelli will definitely be playing. So
Yeah.
that
True. True.
is a little bit of a caveat. Madison is an interesting one. If you ask me, I think once their fixtures turn, I think the Vardy talk is out of the window now. I don't,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think Leicester for the period after game week 22, if I remember correctly, have another great run, which coincides
Correct.
with Salah leaving. So, if Madison maintains his run, he's a little bit of a hot and cold guy. You see him appearing for 4 weeks, and again he goes cold. But if he maintains his form, don't see a reason why people won't go for him. It also coincides with Gallagher's fixtures turning worse.
Correct.
So, he could definitely be an option to consider, provided he holds his form.
Yeah, absolutely. And his finishing has been top notch again. His XGI is 5.6, and he's given 8 returns. I think his finishing is superb. I think last season he has scored 6. He's already at 4. So again, the thing with him is if he stays fit, Leicester really can look forward to scoring goals, which they don't see as a problem. It's just that the defending part, which is a huge problem for them this season. 9.1%. Still, you can call him a differential. 6.8. He would, he's. I don't think there's anybody who's around in this bracket right now. Yes, there are people at 7+, 7.2, 7.3, and then there are midfielders at 6.2 to 6.3, 6.4. He's right in the middle there. Yes, looking at his fixtures, Everton, he's as in they're playing Everton at the right time. So he might come out with a result, but then you don't want to keep him. You don't want to keep a player like this on bench against the likes of City and Liverpool, which I doubt they're going to score. I was just looking at his just digging some stats on him. This season he has proved to be like a flat track bully. He has scored against all the bottom 5 teams, bottom 6 teams. And that's the reason, as you said, 21st game week is Norwich, and then I think after that is Burnley, and then the fixtures really turn good for them. So that is a time you can look at getting Maddison in. But having said that, if he scores a goal and gives a return in Everton, I'm sure the manager's getting the transferring picture this season is very, very different. So I wouldn't be surprised before game week 21 hits, he might still already be at 15% or so. Martinelli, your fifth. Who's your fifth defender?
Fifth mid is Brownhill.
Brownhill. Yeah. So again, he can only be looked at once Salah leaves, and but the thing is, you're right, as you said earlier, once Salah leaves, you don't want to kind of spend that money in 2-3 assets. You just want to just pick up one premium asset and just stick with it.
Yeah. I don't mind the 2.5 million saving, because it helps me get to Firmino if I can, and I'm not sure. Maybe you'll be a good guy to guide on how they set up without Salah and Mane. But if Firmino plays central and Jota takes Mane's spot, I think the move to Firmino makes a lot of sense. He's a absolute bonus monster. Every time he scores, he's on 3 bonus.
Yeah.
So don't mind the 2.5 million. Can easily go from budget striker to Firmino if that's really an option.
Correct. I think maybe we should definitely, if our time permits, we should definitely do a separate session on Salah leaving and what are the different assets, like just focusing on those assets.
True. Yeah.
That's because everybody's gonna be looking at doing that. So yeah. So it's all right. Thank you very much, Bhavin. To all the viewers and listeners, please consider supporting FPL Trybe by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It really helps us to be found. Thank you, Bhavin. I'm gonna see you next week. Thank you very much for your time again.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Anuj. Cheers.